What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Daniel, owner of Bent Rod Fishing, and this is a $5 bag of tracer shads. If you've been making baits for any amount of time, you've probably had this thought go through your head. A little bit of pigment, pinch of flake, a couple drops of scent, bag, sticker, 6 baits, $5. There's got to be a good profit in that, right? Well, I've been making baits full-time for 6 years, and I thought I had a really good idea of how much I made on a bag like this, but I never actually accounted for everything that goes into it, including putting a dollar value on my own time. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to take this bait, we're going to figure out exactly how much it costs, and figure out where that $5 goes. So buckle up. Let's build a business. Now, before we even touch a calculator, there's something we need to establish right up front, because otherwise the numbers in this video can get really confusing. There are 2 people that need to get paid from this bag of baits. Me, and then Bent Rod Fishing. Where is it? Right there. Bent Rod Fishing needs to get paid. And those are 2 very different things. When I'm standing here, shooting baits, demolding baits, doing quality control, that's labor. If I hired somebody to come here and do this for me, I'd have to pay them, right? So why does that labor become 0 just because I'm the one doing it? For today's calculation, I'm valuing that production labor at $20 an hour. Maybe you think your time's worth 15, maybe it's 25 or 30. That's completely up to you, but it can't be 0. When Bent Rod pays me for the time I spend producing these baits, I made money. But to Bent Rod Fishing, my paycheck is an expense. Then whatever money is left has to support the company. And even that money isn't necessarily pure profit. Bent Rod still has equipment, electricity, workspace, website expenses, insurance, marketing, equipment replacement, order fulfillment, and a bunch of other overhead. I'm not going to invent some arbitrary per bag number for those expenses just to make the math look more precise than it really is. So today we're calculating the measurable cost that we can reasonably assign to this bait. Just remember this, if your bait company only makes money because you work for free, your bait company isn't profitable. I'm using the tracer shad for a reason. I could be using one of my proprietary Bent Rod baits that I've designed and I rely on to make a living, but obviously I'm not really interested in putting the economics of those baits on YouTube. But the tracer shad's different. This mold is everywhere. Tons of guys have it. And there's a good chance that you're going to have bags of baits on your workbench that have numbers very similar to the ones we're going to calculate today. I've got 3 4-cavity molds. Every time I shoot all 3, I make 12 tracer shads. I sell them 6 to a bag, so every round through these molds makes 2 $5 bags. It takes me somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes to shoot the mold, demold everything, quality control the baits, put the molds back together, get them back in my clamp, and start shooting again. So let's split the difference and call it 6 minutes. If you stop doing the math right there, this looks like an incredible business. 2 bags every 6 minutes is 20 bags an hour. 20 bags times $5, that's $100 an hour. I'm producing $100 worth of retail inventory in an hour. And at my fastest 5-minute pace, that number is actually $120 an hour. Sounds pretty good, except I'm not making $100 to $120 an hour. I'm producing $100 to $120 worth of retail inventory. Big difference. Let's start with the obvious cost, the actual bait. 4 finished tracer shads still attached to the runner weighs 43 grams. Now, if you break them off, the baits actually weigh 27 grams, which means this runner weighs 16 grams. And this is where I'm about to upset some bait makers. I throw it away. And there are 2 reasons why. The first is economics. In my wholesale versus DTC video, I said that the most valuable resource you have as a small batch bait maker isn't glitter, it isn't plastisol or scent, it's time. And I meant it. And this is a perfect example. About 37% of the plastic that comes out of these molds is in this runner. And that sounds horrible at first, right? Until you ask yourself, what is this worth? And we're literally talking about pennies worth of plastic, pigment, and flake here. Pennies. Now I can sort them by color, I can store them, I can grind them, I can remelt them, and I can shoot the molds again with this plastic and try to recover those pennies, or I can do what actually makes me money and keep producing baits. And my time is worth more than what I'm throwing away. But there's another reason that's way more important to me. Quality. Once I take plastic that's already been heated and cooled and then I reheat it again, it gives me the opportunity to accidentally overheat that plastic. And if you overheat the plastic, the flake can cup, warp, if you will. And when that happens, often it will release the dye that makes the flake the color that it is into your batch of plastic, changing the overall hue or color of your plastic. And to me, if a customer sees one of my baits today and then comes back 6 months from now and wants to buy that color, I want it to be exactly the same color that they bought 6 months ago. So to me, saving a couple of pennies isn't worth risking that quality. Now, if you're doing this as a hobby and you enjoy remelting your runners, absolutely do it. I'm not trying to convince you not to do that. I actually give some of mine to my buddies who do this as a hobby, but I'm trying to build Bent Rod as a business, as a production business. So I have to think about it differently. So I'm not crediting that runner back to myself. It went into the mold, I paid for it, and it went into the trash. That means a 6-pack of tracer shads consumes about 64.5 grams of finished material. Now let's put a price on it. My plastisol cost me around $145 delivered for a 5-gallon bucket. I actually weighed a cup specifically for this video. 1 cup weighs 234 grams. 5 gallons is 80 cups. So I'm paying about $1.81 per cup. That puts the plastisol in this 6-pack around 50 cents. Now pigment varies, but my average recipe uses around 1 milliliter per cup. And 4 ounces generally cost me between $6 and $7. So pigment is around 2 cents. So here's when I actually measured. A 1/4 teaspoon of my flake weighs about 1 gram, and the container works out to roughly 3 cents per gram. Spread across this bag, that's 1 penny. Now, as far as scent goes, I use about 12 milliliters of scent in every 8-cup batch I put in my shooting star. Scent at a pint is $25. The amount that ends up allocated in these 6 baits is around 2 cents. So here it is. A $5 bag of baits contains roughly 55 cents worth of actual bait material. And if that's where you stop doing math, you'd think I was killing it. But we're nowhere near done. Now we have to put the bait in something. And this one really surprised me when I started looking at it. A lot of bait makers buy unprinted bags from clearbags.com or somewhere similar. At the price we're using today, which I just looked up on their website, 100 of these costs $111. And then you have to brand it. Let's assume you're paying 20 cents for a sticker. And if you're wholesaling, you need a SKU. Mine cost me 3 cents a piece. Think about that for a second. We just calculated the actual bait costs around 55 cents in that bag. And the package that you're putting it in is $1.39. Packaging costs more than twice as much as the actual product inside the bag. But this is where knowing your numbers can change your business. Bent Rod doesn't pay $1.39 for packaging. I have my bags custom printed overseas and they cost me 17 cents a piece. Add my 3 cent SKU and I'm in it for 20 cents total. Same bait, same $5 retail price. One business decision changes the economics by $1.19 on every bag. And meanwhile, that 1/4 teaspoon of flake we might worry about using too much of, it costs us about a penny per bag. Sometimes we're trying to save money in the wrong places. And I'm not telling you to go out and order thousands of custom bags tomorrow. If you don't have the volume to justify it, that could be a terrible business decision. The point is to know where your money is actually going. Now, we've paid for the bait, we've paid for the packaging, but there's someone we haven't paid. This guy. Remember, I'm valuing production labor at $20 an hour. At my average pace, it takes me about 6 minutes to shoot, demold, and quality control 2 bags. So Bent Rod owes the person making these baits approximately $1 per bag. And that dollar is my paycheck. It's not Bent Rod's profit. And we're actually being somewhat generous to the bait here. I'm not assigning all the heating, mixing, cleanup time specifically to the tracer shed because I don't do tracer shed only production runs. I typically mix 8 cups of plastic at a time in my shooting star, and I'm producing rigs, mogambos, twitch switches, reloads, everything during that run. So this setup is being shared across multiple products. But the 6 minutes we can directly measure, Bent Rod needs to pay for it. Okay, we're finally ready to sell this bag. Now the customer pays $5 for the bag. My website charges a 3% transaction fee. The bait itself costs about 55 cents. Bent Rod's actual packaging, 20 cents. The person who made the bait gets paid $1. That means we have $3.10 remaining. But I am not going to sit here and tell you that Bent Rod made $3.10 in pure profit. It did not. That $3.10 still has to pay for molds, injectors, the shooting star, electricity, workspace, website expenses, insurance, marketing, equipment replacement, and everything else that goes with running the company. We haven't even included labor involving pulling, packing, shipping customers' orders. Eventually, all of those things have to be accounted for. I'm just not going to invent numbers for them today. Now, let's make this really interesting. Take the exact same bag and sell it wholesale. Nothing about making the bait changed. The plastisol didn't get cheaper, the pigment didn't get cheaper, the bag didn't get cheaper, and most importantly, my time didn't get cheaper. Now, Bent Rod has $1.25 left to contribute towards all of those other business expenses we just talked about. That's a big difference of $1.85 per bag. Not because wholesale is evil, because the retailer needs to make money too. Like I said in my wholesale versus DTC video, tackle shops aren't the bad guys here. They have employees, rent, utilities, inventory costs in their own businesses to operate. They need margins too. The question is whether your production model can afford to give it to them. When I eventually start pushing Bent Rod harder into wholesale, I plan on having 6 bag per product minimum order quantity. So let's look at 6 tracer shads. Same 6 bags, same production labor, same materials, same packaging, $12 less revenue. Doesn't mean I won't wholesale them. It means before I do, I need a production system capable of making the wholesale economics work. And that's exactly why I said in my last video that wholesale makes a whole lot more sense when your problem becomes moving inventory, not producing enough of it. So, how much profit is in this $5 bag of baits? The answer is a lot more complicated than I thought at first. And that's kind of the point of this video. The actual bait, 55 cents. But knowing that number alone tells me almost nothing about whether I've built a profitable product. The biggest mistake I think we make as small bait makers is taking what's left over after the plastic, the pigment, and the flake and calling it profit. It isn't. You need to get paid for the work that you do, and your company needs to have money left over after it pays you. Those are 2 very different things. Because eventually your business needs to grow. It needs to survive a slow month. It needs to replace equipment. And hopefully, one day, it needs to hire somebody who can stand at your workbench while you're off doing something way more valuable for your business to help it grow. And weirdly enough, this entire video can be summed up by this little piece of plastic right here. Look at that. That's usable material, and I paid for it, and I'm going to throw it away. Because I've done the calculations and decided that my time and the quality of my baits are worth more than the pennies that I could save. That doesn't mean that it's right for your business. It means it's right for mine. And that's the difference between understanding how to make a good bait and understanding how to run a good bait company. And that's what I want this Pouring Profit series to be all about. There are a million videos out there showing you how to make soft plastic baits. I want to talk about how you can actually turn those baits into a business that can support you. If you haven't watched my wholesale versus DTC video yet, that's the one I would watch next, because it takes the numbers we just calculated and shows why I think some small batch bait makers need to be careful about chasing wholesale too early. And I want to know something in the comments. Before watching this video, when you calculated your profits, were you paying yourself for your time or were you working for free? Let me know below, and I'll see you in the next one.